ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the CNN Special Report. This is the Andrew Jackson Trial Edition, and unfortunately our main correspondent, Daniel Wruble, will not be here with us tonight, and so I will be taking his place. My name is Wilbur Huxley, and at this moment we're going to bring you down to our field reporter, Nathan Wigley, and he's going to give us some live feed of what's going down with our president. Thank you.
I'm Nathan Wigley, reporting from CNN Early Republic. I'm here this morning at the Andrew Jackson trial, and we're going to give you some first-hand footage of what's going on with our president. That's the bell for the trial to start. Let's get in there quick.
Sir, please explain a few words why you wanted to...
The tariff was because it was hurt the southern economy greatly, because what the tariff did was basically they cut off with the cotton. They only really benefited the northern economy, whereas they limited the South from selling to Europe. The South could only sell to the North, and that hurt us greatly.
So you're saying that it hurt your economy a lot. Okay.
Here we have an interview. Nathan Wigley from CNN.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you please describe your relationship with President Andrew Jackson?
I was his vice president.
Okay. Thank you. Do you think President Jackson abused his presidential power?
Yes, I do.
Can you go further?
He took away states' rights, though he said he was for them. He made decisions without listening to any other people, and he always did what was best for him, not what was best for the nation.
Thank you. Nathan Wigley from CNN.
Do you think overall Jackson was a pretty successful president?
I think Jackson was an excellent president. He did many things that improved our economy, and he did many things to improve the longevity and the importance of our country in view of the world.
Jackson had sent a few troops and forced us on a march out of our
And so what happened during it? Like, how were your people treated?
Well, they were treated like cattle. I lost my own wife on the trail, and there was many killed, and it was just a very emotional trip.
I'm here with Chief John Ross. Chief, can you please explain your relationship with Andrew Jackson?
Well, beforehand, Andrew Jackson and I fought together alongside each other against the British in the War of 1812, and also the Creek War in 1813. And he was my general, and I was his lieutenant.
Thank you. Do you believe that Andrew Jackson has recklessly disregarded his powers, his presidential powers?
I believe so. He ignored all of the court rulings and everything, so he just made his own decision without anybody else okaying him, and just pushed us all out. So.
Nathan Wigley, reporting from CNN.
And when you see this unfair treatment, would you say that it was an abuse of power?
Yes, because he ignored the Worcester versus Georgia mandate or whatever mandate sent by Marshall, which pretty much meant that you couldn't remove the Native Americans, and you just waited till he died.
Somebody suggested that the Native Americans didn't sign any treaties or anything like that, which was oddly enough countered today. So it sounds like there's kind of an issue with the evidence on that standpoint. And I did sign treaties with the Indians and whatnot. And we did try and work a bunch of stuff out. And they were trying to make their own country within our country. And I mean, if you guys want to have a secession, I mean, go ahead if you don't love America. But if you want America to stay as a whole, as united, then you can see why I had to do what I had to do. And as to the other ones who suggested I hated Indians, or I deliberately tried to destroy our country, or anything else like that, I sincerely hope the jury can take into account biases and things like that that are completely unfounded, and see what an awesome person I truly am.
We're live. This is Nathan Wigley, live from outside of the courthouse, day 2 of Jackson's trial. The jury is deliberating as we speak, and we'll be back to you with the progress. Back to you.
Thank you once again, Nathan. I just think I think it's obvious, it's clear to me here that that Jackson will be found guilty on these charges. You know, he's obviously showing what the lawyers have done to portray these acts. You know, he's abusing the presidential power. You know, he's not taking into respect of the country's economic interests. He's not fulfilling his duty as president. And he's mistreating an entire race of people, the Native Americans. This is not what we want our president to do, America. This is not what we want. So I speak for myself and I speak for CNN and Early Republic that I think Andrew Jackson will be found guilty tonight. Thank you.
Describe your thoughts and fears going to the trial.
Mostly, I'm worried that people will accuse me of doing things that I've never done, and that my name will be dashed in the history books from here on out.
What do you think the outcome of the trial will be?
Hopefully, I'll go off free.
Say you were guilty, how would you react?
I'd be hurt, since the jury members are made of people that I've spent 8 years fighting for.
Well, what has been your proudest accomplishment?
I think consistency in my presidency is probably one of the best things I've done. I've continuously fought for states' rights throughout all of my years, and Van Buren is my successor, and so obviously that I liked that.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm getting something. Okay. Alright. The results of the trial are now in, ladies and gentlemen. The results of the trial are in. So, we're gonna go back to our live footage, so stay tuned.
Alright, so the charge of disregard for the principle of separation of powers, specifically disregarding the authority of the Supreme Court, we find the defendant guilty on the majority of 7-7. And for the next charge, the charge of reckless disregard of state government's authority, unlawfully using the power of the federal government, we find the defendant innocent. And for the next charge of reckless disregard of the economic interests of citizens of the United States, we find the defendant guilty. And for the last charge, abuse of presidential power and authority and behavior unseemly of a president, we find the defendant guilty.
Okay. So, thank you.
This now concludes the CNN special report of the Andrew Jackson trial. On behalf of Nathan Wigley and myself, I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good night.